last we left off, you had arrived at Alderheart to see prisoners. Lucille, the other one was Kingsley, the raccoon you've been journeying with for the past few weeks. You managed to successfully break them out, and you reasoned with the council to allow Harold a seat on the council. You agreed to go deal with the main bandit issue in the mountains, and now you're staring at the jagged slopes of the crest tower before you. All the peaks of the mountains are completely obscured by clouds. You do see a bunch of goods wagons making their way up, so there seems to be some kind of rough road that's leading up there. The quest you were given by the council, to be specific, was to basically end the reign of the general of the Bandit Coalition.
Okay, come on team, huddle up. So, what do you guys think? Harold, and Relic, it doesn't look like you're huddling right now. Alright, nice one. So, I can't see Xander, I'm assuming he is.
I vote mountain.
Vote mountain. Lilypad Allen?
I'm down for the mountain.
Xander?
I'm up for the mountain.
Relic?
Sure.
I suppose that's mountain too.
The road is pretty rough. Your mules are going to struggle and get quite exhausted heading up.
No,
We've
takes
got wagons as well, so if anyone does get exhausted, we've still got that wagon.
True, and it's a Rafferty Dandridge, so it'll last.
It is a Rafferty Dandridge, yeah. If we are strategic about it, during the day you've got those people going up and down the mountain. Do you reckon we'll be able to convince or sneak onto the back of a cart? All of us.
Is there a way of shrinking the cart?
Oh, there is.
Carry it up.
My wand.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a risk, though.
that is a risk. Yeah, let's not do that. No, I was just
Do you know
thinking-
what? I think I might have enlarge and reduce.
Wait, can we not do that to the mountain then? Make it a smaller mountain to climb?
If you reduce the mountain with everybody inside, kill them all, we're done. Or we could just climb the mountain.
Just trying to find the most efficient way to do so.
Should I just use my wand on the mountain and see what happens?
Yes.
Oh, you're all
Only
cool for that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright, cool.
So, can you roll D100, please?
Is it possible that someone can use Bardic Inspiration?
We can both do it.
64 is what I got.
You wave the wand, and it appears that nothing happens. There's a bit of a twinkling in your ears, though, so you know something's gone on.
What happened?
Okay.
Sorry?
Nothing.
Something.
Nothing happened.
Nothing
We
we can
don't know
see.
yet. Okay, let's start climbing.
When you get about 120 feet up, you notice a leg sticking out of the snow. It seems quite frozen.
And it's got a foot on the end. I'm going to
Put
inspect
it here.
said leg.
This has been a raccoon bandits.
I'm gonna leave it. I'm connoisseur of collecting different species feet. I'm like Charles Dickens.
Darwin.
Darwin.
I'm going to write about the feet.
So I'm gonna leave the foot.
Onwards.
You continue heading up the mountain. Just ahead of you, you've caught up with a small bandit patrol. There's 4 of these bandits, and they're led by a captain, and they're pulling a hijacked or very much stolen wagon. It's not a Rafferty Dandridge, it's more of a Susan's. It's filled with sacks of something. They haven't noticed you.
I
Well,
love how much detail we get with the wagons now.
yeah. What are we going to do? Just follow them?
Yeah, just stay like 3 steps behind.
3? Oh,
Very subtle.
have you ever followed anyone, Kim? Because that's not
very
discreet.
effectively.
That
No,
was
I'll
stealth.
say further than that. That would be horrific.
An acceptable distance behind.
About an hour after this has been going on, as the sun begins to rise, you notice in front of you, through the mist of early morning, just massive stone towers, I'd say 100 feet tall. As you approach the connectors, like a squat and very sturdy fortress. A few very distant shapes can be seen patrolling the walls of this thing, and the banners with the Bandit Coalition hang from the towers themselves.
We can make a grappling hook.
Now what?
Yeah.
Right,
Your foot. The bird foot.
the bird foot and the rope
Yeah.
we've got.
Roll a stealth check.
Alright.
What is our plan here?
What are we trying to do?
I'm assuming we're trying to get in.
Are we trying to kill all the bandits? Or
You've been given instructions by the Birdfolk Council to deal with the general of the Bandit Coalition.
I have an idea. If
15.
we gave the captain's sword to the most bandit-like of our party,
That'd be Kingsley.
Hmm.
and then pretend to be his prisoners to get in.
Maybe.
Ooh.
He is 8 years old.
Yeah.
He's a very good 8-year-old.
But then surely Princess Luna's
Streets
bandit
ahead.
enough, like.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
got feet. I got feet galore.
We should formulate a plan.
Yes.
We could either just attack and
I
barge
don't
our way
think that's a good idea at all.
sneak in.
Um,
We could deceive our way in. We could
Oh, yes, we can seduce our way
we
in.
could seduce our way in.
How many people have disguise kits?
2 bards.
So if we get into a fight now, I don't think. Well, we can't work out how many there are going to be in there.
I think we try and sneak past these towers and these guards.
Oh, we should have an alibi.
Are we deceiving or sneaking our way in?
I think sneaking.
Deceiving. Oh, sneaking.
Maybe even a mixture of the two.
Oh, I can stay in the wagon, can't I?
You've taken a bunch of supplies with you, so you kind of hide amongst the supplies because you're quite small enough to do that.
Are you going to come and woo your way in with me? Improv?
You know what? Let's do that. I'll
Okay.
follow you. I'm a bard. I should be able to seduce people.
I could go in with Kingsley and pretend to be Kingsley's prisoner. Like, oh, I've caught a bandit defector, and then they all promote him to an actual bandit, and then, I don't know. Do I know the blueprints of the castle?
You know the general courtyards, so you know inside you've got like general marketplace, a very makeshift tavern. There's a prison inside, a canvas tent, and Lucille, you've been in there once or twice after you tried defecting.
Okay, I get a stick. No, I use the talon of the crow, and I draw out a map and the blueprint, and I huddle everyone around.
Should we start making our way in?
Let's go, Luna.
Okay.
You're the first to go up to the fortress itself. You reach the gates, which has already been opened and since closed for these guys who were bringing in some goods. You have a couple of guards come out to watch it to make sure it definitely is closed and no one's going to try and sneak in. You approach the gate, which towers above you, and inside is a single mouse. This guy seems to be an apprentice, and he's got his boss next to him, a beaver, muscular, and just staring down, watching this poor mouse's every move as the mouse goes, okay, do you have papers, anything to identify yourself with the coalition?
Unfortunately, we don't have papers. We're just back from the siege of Ashbarrow, sorry. We got caught behind, counting up the dead and making sure we hadn't missed any loot, so we were late following back.
And he's like, Ash what? I didn't catch that.
Ashbarrow.
Oh.
Did we order that? And you see this beaver pull out a little notebook, and he goes to the siege of this. We have nothing to do with the siege of Ashbarrow. We've taken in 2 or 3 refugees from Ashbarrow. If you sided with those people.
Yes, that's exactly what we did.
As sworn members of the Bandit Coalition, this mouse begins to try and explain. You lose all rights to any weapons you're currently carrying. You'll be kept in the prison for just overnight, just until we've checked everything's in order, and then you'll be trained up in our barracks for 2-3 weeks before going on your first siege. How does that sound?
So we have
Sounds
to
like a real
self-isolate
treat.
for a day before we join population.
I've had enough of this.
It's even in fantasy.
I don't want to self-isolate. We've been traveling for days to get here, and now you're telling us that you need to lock us in prison.
Lilliput, seduce him.
No, because there's 2 of them.
Seduce them both.
I'll take one of them. So you're seducing the beaver. I have to seduce the mouse in that case. And I'm just going to do a really, shabby Singing in the Rain.
My thought process was I'm the bard. I should be good at this.
Okay, so roll a performance check, please, if you're going to go first, Princess Luna.
Performance is +3, so 20.
Lillipad, please have a performance check from you as well.
Okay. 19.
How are you seducing this beaver?
I'm going to serenade him and compliment his fine muscles.
You try and compliment his fine muscles, and you try and serenade this beaver. And as Princess Luna's completely captivated this mouse, you are unsuccessful with the beaver as you both try.
Oh my gosh.
I rolled a natural 20, I'm sorry. He's not taken by the charms, and so the beaver puts his hand on the shoulder of this mouse, shoves it out of the way, and says, look, unless you have papers to prove that you are part of the coalition, then great. If you're refugees, then you abide by our rules, stay in the prison cell until we can check that you're decent people.
I'm tempted to agree and play the long game.
So please surrender your weapons to Trickle Jam here, and we can sort you out.
Trickle Jam? Nice! Is there anywhere that we have to put our names down? I'm changing my name for being a bandit. It's going to be my alter ego. Applebee Sugarkiss. Is my...
Princess Luna's drag name.
You lose everything in your inventory except your armor and any hidden items you've got on your person. As the gates are opened and you're led through, as they lead you through the courtyard, you're able to see a few of these recruits for the Bandit Coalition being taught archery, sword fighting with some wooden swords. Leading up to the keep, and you have a few market stalls, a murky-looking tavern, and then you're led to the side, which is a worn-down canvas tent. It's got holes in it, and inside there's 4 separate prison cells, and you both put into the same one together. And then the guard locks the cage and says, "I'm sorry, this is the way we have to do it. Just any refugees, we have to make sure they're not part of the Birdfolk Council who've been sending spies to us recently. But as your humble folk, we have..."
Birdfolk? Huh? I'm gonna fake heave.
Roll a performance, please.
So 14.
I like your attitude. We have nothing but trouble with those people.
Can I also be like, yeah, I killed one on my way up here, a bird. I'm supposed to be a refugee, killing birds on my way up.
We like that kind of attitude here in the coalition. Now, we don't like mindless killing, but if it was for good reason, I'm sure it was, and I'm sure you'll find a place amongst our ranks.
I really like that. So we're going to lock us up until we showed some mild racism.
Maybe Kingsley could go in and say that they've captured me and say that I'm a member of the council and, all that jazz.
What's Lucille's plan with Kingsley, though?
I didn't have a plan.
I mean, I don't know what they'll do with a supposed member of the council, but I could be...
It's a risky game.
Yeah, like, what's the word? I could appeal to their...
What's the word? Constitution saving throw.
Or you could just try to be an ambassador. Negotiate just to meet.
Do you have a disguise kit? Disguise as a mole. An actual mole. My idea was if you come in as a prisoner, it's less dangerous than coming in as a council member. Yeah.
Is that your name for this alter ego?
Paul McCoy.
Paul McCoy?
That's my name.
Yes.
Well, okay, why don't we just storm the place?
Cause a distraction.
Yeah.
We'll cause a distraction outside while you can do your thing inside.
Our thing inside will take a day.
We don't know that they've been taken for a day. So let's just give them an hour to get in.
Yeah.
And then we'll do it.
Can I build a bomb?
Out of what's in your inventory, please.
I'm not.
Harry, we're in trouble.
Oh no.
I feel that, I do.
A small bag of spices.
Is one of those spices gunpowder?
I'll just walk up to a guard and just blow a load of spices into his eyes. So I'll use disguise self.
Yeah. I rolled a 4, so they don't recognise you as an owl at this stage.
Okay. I use my small bag of spices.
I would like to stealthily fly up above and behind the guards, up at the top, up the mountain from them.
Stealth check, please.
15.
Natural 1 for the
Yeah.
guard. So as you fly up above them, they don't even recognise anything, any sign of movement. As you successfully reach above, you can oversee the courtyard now, flapping up there.
I stroll up to the guards with this, it's just my hands or wings, well, hands, whatever. What am I, a raccoon?
Yeah, you're a raccoon.
A raccoon. I was like, guys, Reggie, Stuart, look at this. It's just they can come in, and I'm just like, look, I found something really amazing. Into their eyes.
Trickle Jam, the little mouse. He's like, "Oh, what have you got? Whereas the beaver puts a hand on his shoulder, pulls him back a little bit. Trickle Jam takes the full amount of these spices to his eyes. You notice...
I didn't realise it was them, I'm sorry.
There was some pretty interesting chili spices in that. Trickle Jam, eyes bright red, tears falling from his eyes. He squeaks really loudly and you just begins rolling on the floor, clawing at his eyes to try and get this stuff out of his face. Only a slight amount reached the beaver, and so just tears are falling from his eyes. He's trying to, blink them back. And he's like, "Oh, raise your alarm." And he's now reaches for a bell and just starts dinging it. Please roll initiative, Harold.
On my own.
On your own.
14 initiative.
Currently, you get to go first. You've got Trickle Jam and the beaver, so you can assume that more will come. What would you like to do?
Sleep. I use the sleep spell. Roll 5d8. The total is how many hit points of this creature's spell can affect. 25.
Trickle-Jam straight away stops rolling on the floor and falls asleep. And mid-ring, he's like a bit more of a dong, and then he's like comes back up 2 and pulls his short sword out, and he's now just going to lunge through the window to try and hit you. 16 to hit, 4 points of damage as he lunges through with a short sword, and it's going to slice into you, removing part of your disguise, and he's now seeing feathers beneath you. His eyes get more enraged as he turns around and begins dinging it much harder and much louder.
Sorry.
Princess Luna and Lilypad, the guard that was in your tent withdraws a sword and just runs out of the tent with no look behind. Can I have a perception check from both of you, please?
15 plus 3, 18.
9.
Lilypad doesn't notice anything curious, but Princess Luna sees that the bars are pretty rusty. Harold, what would you like to do?
Cast blindness on the beaver.
Natural 20.
Oh, come on.
No!
Part of the disguise is falling off even more after you've been wounded, and you push the feathers forward. Spell, it kind of goes through him, and Relic, I'm going to come to you for a moment before he reacts.
I would like to sneak up on one of the guards.
You notice now that the guards are all pointing the bows down and trying to look in the bushes for any sign of the reason why he's calling so aggressively.
I'm going to attack in a very specific order. So I'm going to hit with one of my short swords. 14. So this one will do 7 damage. Then my other short sword is 16 to hit. 8 damage.
So you make some kind of noise, I'm assuming, as you've come down a core and just ram both short swords into the first bandit that you see. It skewers into it, blood bursts out, and it just coughs. As you withdraw your sword, it falls down. Harold, behind you, you just hear a thud as the dust appears around you. I'm going to go to Princess Luna and Lilypad Allen if they want to do anything at the stage.
Are we able to try and call out to the guard that went running to see if we can convince them to let us out and prove our worth? Wait, 5 plus my shouting modifier of 3.
I shout after them. 15. That was so cool.
Princess Luna attempts to call after this hedgehog bandit.
And has a voice crack.
So then Lilypad, now accustomed to Princess Luna's bad speech problems, croaks out, "Wait!" And
What?
this hedgehog looks over its shoulder and he's like, "What?
Let us
We will
prove
not
our worth.
Prove our worth. Yep.
You're not trained."
Have you ever heard of the infamous Tadpole McCoy?
Yes, and Applebee Sugarkiss.
Persuasion check, please.
Persuasion.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
16. Why is it so high?
The hedgehog considers for just a moment before withdrawing the keys, tossing the key to you, and says, "Find whatever weapons you can," and then rushes out with the short sword drawn.
Well, he throws the keys. Is it like one key or is it like a set?
Did he have enough time to take it off the keychain? Oh, so it's the set. Excellent.
Set of keys. Wonderful.
I'll attack the next one then. 15 to hit.
So as you descend on this one, just after killing one, you slash upon another, cut off, I'd say, hand immediately. It stumbles off the edge of the keep. The beaver is going to try and stab you in the face.
Oh, yay!
Very enraged, going to roll with advantage because he overcame your charm so easily. Never mind, I just rolled 2 natural ones with 2 dice. The spell is still very confused in its mind as lunges forward and stumbles through the window. Now lands at your feet.
I short bow, like, it's at my feet right through his head. Plus 4 to hit, so 11.
It just ricochets off his armor.
We're going to unlock all of the doors.
It's got 4 keys on it and there are 4 cages in this room, but
Oh, I'm never going to be able to work that out. I'm going to have to roll something and see if I can do it.
Essentially, I want to look for the sword again, bandit sword.
you know it was taken off you by the beavers as you were coming through the gates, so you can assume it'd be still in that little room. So it's a room inside the wall itself with just a window that opens and closes like a wooden hatch. And it didn't come out of that room with you, so you know where your equipment is.
Well, I think this calls for step 2 of our plan. Tadpole McCoy, what do you think?
Thank you. Would that be having a sing-song?
Yeah? One love? I take it, are we going to unlock the cages first and then we're all going to leave? Should we try and convince some of the people in the cages?
There's no one else in the cages, it's just you.
Oh, it's just us. Oh, there's no point unlocking them then. We're going to leave singing One Love in harmony together. Hopefully our performance is going to stop the fighting. We're like Bono.
Both of you roll a performance check, please.
Unnatural 20.
11. Wait, 8 plus 3. What is that? That is 11, isn't it? Yeah.
It is 11.
Princess Luna really lets the duo down. For a second, a very split second, Harold and Relic notice a brief pause in the fighting as they all look down to the courtyard to wonder, what is this beautiful sound? And then Princess Luna comes in with the harmonies and I'm like, oh, it's just prisoners. And the fighting continues as you rush away. You have a brief second. I'm going to allow advantage on attack rolls during that second. But meanwhile, the 3 bandits have now noticed Relic as the main source of the attack, and 3 of them are going to fire arrows at you. A natural 20, an 18, and an 8. 3 points of damage, and then with the natural 20, you're going to take 14 points of damage.
Cool.
I have to go family-related things, but it's why there's like disappear and you make up a story. I don't know. Toodaloo, see you next week.
It's now the beaver's turn, who takes his sword up and is going to try and jab up at Harold. The rest of your disguise now falls off, revealing the little tiny, big-eyed, feathered,
Beautiful owl.
beautiful owl. 5 points of slashing damage. You've been kind of agony with that now.
Are there 3 more bandits up here?
3 more, yeah.
I'm going to fly away and eat a berry.
You begin flying away from the battle. You're going to go keep at the same height, or you're going to descend, ascend?
I'm just going to sort of fly out at the same height.
Yeah, I'm going to stab with my rapier. 22, 3 damage.
You slash down at him with a rapier. It cuts slightly into his armor, but it's merely just a scratch on his shoulder that you get him. Princess Luna, you rush towards the tower where your stuff is kept, where you notice Harold and this beaver are locked into combat. You have Trickle Jam asleep on the floor, and it's just like a massive crusted look around his watery eyes. All your stuff is laid out on a table.
So I'm gonna obviously take my stuff. Gonna go out to Trickle Jam. So basically, I just want to try and wake him up. And if I've got anything in my inventory to wash his sweet blue eyes.
Water, I guess, is part of your rations.
Just gonna rinse his eyes out while he's asleep still. Just gonna open him up and give him a good scrub with my hands.
A natural 1. I was rolling a Constitution saving throw to see if it doesn't wake him up, so he just stays asleep as you successfully rub water onto his little tiny eyes.
A toothbrush.
Just get in there under the eyelids and just
completely asleep. No idea. So I'm gonna try and wake him up now, and I'm like, "Hey, Trickle Jam."
He's still moaning a bit as he comes to, and he's just like, ugh.
I washed your eyes for you.
There was a bell, and there was a...
Yeah, there's currently a big fight going on. We need your help, because you're the chosen one.
Roll a deception check. I'm rolling horribly tonight.
It was a natural 20. I've got
There's
my
a history button you can check. You just throw
I'm getting so excited.
Trickle Jam looks up at you, really blurry-eyed, and he's like, yes, I've been telling the entire council here the whole time. I need to
All right, enough of you, Trickle Jam. Back to me. We need your insight, and we need your help. We were sent here to save you from this bandit camp, and we need your help to fight everyone else here. Your family, your friends, we need them gone.
You rolled a natural 20, so you've convinced him, for sure.
Excellent. I've got a new fighter, guys. He's a mouse.
And he doesn't know that I attacked him because I looked like a raccoon at the time.
Give me a second. What you're saying here is these guys are the bad guys, you're the good guys. You snuck in here under false pretenses to save me.
Exactly. I couldn't have put it any better myself.
3 bandits on the roof again. We're going to try and fire off to Relic as he escapes. A natural 1, a 4, and a 17 Relic. And you're going to take 6 points of piercing damage. You just take an arrow to the backside. I have 3 arrows stuck inside you as you get a bit lightheaded as you're flying away. Relic, what would you like to do?
Eat another berry.
A second berry. You're now out of range.
Good.
But now, Harold, you hear stampede outside the gates as the gate is drawn open. 7 more guards all draw their swords after hearing this alert from the bell and are now going to gather around you, seeing you as the lone person who was attacking this beaver.
Wait, can I cast blindness? Constitution of 12.
It's a 7, so he goes blind straight away. And he's like, guys, this one's a sorcerer. treads carefully and he begins walking in the opposite direction and just feeling out with his arms like he's trying to wonder where he's going. As the rest of them, though, draw the swords and pretty much circle around you. Beaver's still on the floor at your mercy. Princess Luna, you see all this from your window. So does Trickle-Jam. And Trickle-Jam is like, but she's an owl. We don't deal with owls. Even if I am the chosen one, I don't like those people.
Trickle-Jam, no. Owls, they're going to help you take over the world. That's why these people didn't like owls. It's because owls were the ones that were going to help you reach your full potential.
Owls eat people like me.
No, they don't. They definitely do. A what check, sorry?
This one doesn't. Specify this one doesn't.
Holy
Is that another natural 20?
that is another natural 20.
You have this guy completely devoted to you now. He's like, I'm going to follow you to your death.
We need your help to make these guards stand down so that we can leave.
I've got it. Trickle-Jam climbs up over the window in a very squeaky voice, takes his short sword out and says, "Stand down, you fiends!"
Oh.
And these guys now look at him and he's like, begins to give a very rousing speech on how it's all a big misunderstanding, that he was attacked not by this owl but by a sneaky raccoon, and as the owl came to his rescue, insight check from the guards. An 8. They believe every word that Trickle-Jam is saying.
Oh, wow.
And they, around you, slowly sheath their swords again. And it says, right, we're going to need a full statement from you, Trickle-Jam. And he said, we're going to lock this one up until we get a full investigation into him as well. They look down at the 2 corpses of the 2 bandits that have fallen. Is this you? And looks down at Harold. Trickle-Jam, was this him? Trickle-Jam. He's like, well, I didn't see. Oh no. And a little tear begins to fall and says, these were my friends. And he looks to Princess Luna. He's like, did you do this, or was that the owl?
I don't know who did this. Maybe it was the only one that is lying here, and I turned to look at the big beaver.
Why would you do that? These were your friends too. I look around for 1 minute, I fall asleep, and then you come killing my friends. Guards, arrest this beaver. And the guards, now listening to Trickle-Jam, are going to take both Harold and begin dragging you towards the prison cell to put in the same cell. And he flexes his muscles as he puffs, and he goes lying down on one of the little straw mattresses. And he puffs over and just doesn't face you, and you see his tail give a very irritable whack.
Yeah, so my goal is to convince Pickle-Jam that we need Harold, because obviously he already believed me that Harold is the one that's going to help him reach his full potential.
Roll persuasion check and we'll see how it goes.
2 + 3, which is 5.
He's like, well, it's procedure, and like I said to you earlier, procedure's procedure. We have no control over this. I'm just the doorkeeper. I let in the refugees and the bandits, and it goes up the chain of command up until, the person you want to speak to is General Sheridan. She's the only one who's going to have any control over anything here.
Consider it Sherry done.
Trickle-Jam explains that Sheridan now runs this place, and it was a lot more chaotic before she took over, and things are generally better under her command. So now I'm part of your gang. Are you part of a coalition or a syndicate or a group of any kind?
Big booty mamas. Was it BBM? I can't remember. Big booty mama gang.
Maybe a name change before I join. Maybe you can be the chosen one and his
chosen one plus big booty mama gang.
Kingsley and Lucille are still in the cart.
I'll sneak into it.
It's got stuff in it, hasn't it?
Okay, so Princess Luna, you can get the wagon cart thing if you want to. It's currently got Kingsley, Lucille and Relic hiding inside it amongst the supplies.
Is that going to be risky?
Not presently, because you've kind of just now proven yourself worthy.
Could I convince them to get some papers?
Sort your papers out straight away. Co-signs one that's already been signed from the General herself. This is for prize guests who don't have papers on them at the time. I've written one for you. I can't get one for anyone else. You both, under the name Appleby and...
yeah, Appleby and Tadpole McCoy.
And you've been sectioned off to a certain place to reside. You take your wagon, and as you begin walking through, one of the guards who is further in the gate looks at the wagon and he's like, hold it right there, puts his hand out. So they need to take a look at that.
These are not the droids you are looking for. Persuasion. 4 + 3, so 7.
I've been rolling so badly tonight, so that was a 2.
So it worked!
He comes closer to the wagon and he's just like, hold it right there. That there's a Rafferty Dandridge, right?
It certainly is a Rafferty Dandridge.
Where do you get your hands on such a fine wagon?
Yeah, we stole it.
Acquired it.
Yes, acquired it by blood.
You might want to disguise it while you're in this camp in case.
A lot of people want it, I know.
Disguise it as Susan's perfectly good.
Perfectly working homegrown wagons.
If you're able to, you can disguise it over the next couple of hours into a Susan wagon, and then you get away with that. So you're inside with the wagon and the goods, and basically your inventory's in there. So you have your weapons to hand and any rations and stuff that the guards gave you. That's where we'll end the session for this evening.